You're listening to the voice of IWA Flip here on Interfed Radio. And welcome to Around the United Nations League. With me today in studio, Commissioner Scott Anderson. Commissioner, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me. Good to be back.
Oh man, I love our new little news intro, man. We gotta take advantage of the time.
I dig it.
Oh,
I
man.
enjoy it.
Now the United Nations League continues to grow and continues to bring us excitement, and we're getting close to our pay-per-view.
Yeah, next cycle. I think I am probably most excited for this pay-per-view than any other UNL pay-per-view before.
Nice.
I just feel like this every show is different, but like this could be the biggest, quote unquote, biggest UNL show we've had 25 cycles in. So I'm pretty excited.
Oh yeah, and like I said, a lot of action in 2018, and 2018 finals. Have we tallied those up in the UNL or?
I have some tentative totals, but I am not prepared to disclose them. But if we're talking year-end awards, I don't know if this show, I know you're a busy man, so if this show does post by or before January 11th, and UNL managers have not voted yet, they really need to get on and message me and vote if they want. If you don't want to, I guess that's fine. But if it posts after January 11th, hopefully you saw my message on the Facebook group, and you had the opportunity to vote. I have a few votes in, but not a ton of votes yet. So hopefully.
Now in terms of votes, what are we voting on? What's at stake?
Yeah, excellent question. I'll cover first the things we will not vote on, which are Wrestler of the Year, Tag Team of the Year, and Six Man of the Year. That'll be determined by the points, which is what you were alluding to. But then the things that we will be voting on are Moment of the Year, Feud of the Year, Trash Talker of the Year, so like manager, Newcomer of the Year, wrestler-wise, and then Show of the Year. So like which kind of event was the biggest one of the year. So those are the 5 that managers have the opportunity to vote on.
And if managers out there, I'll take a match deal for any. No, I'll take a match.
In exchange for my vote.
So
speaking of that, though, I don't think this would happen, but it is exclusive to UNL managers, right? I know other places allow kind of people to vote for certain things, but this is only for UNL managers to vote on. So whether you've been there 4 cycles, maybe you were there the first 10 cycles of the year, whatever the case may be, but I'll accept those votes.
That'll work. Come on over. Come on in. Oh man, so we're gonna wait up till next time to reveal our finalist.
Correct. But I will say, after I was so amped up after the latest bulletin that I finally put together this like comprehensive spreadsheet that I've been wanting to put together. So in addition to year-end awards, there is a really high likelihood that you will see some just stats.
Nice.
And including things like, who's had the most league titles. We all know who that is already. But like maybe who's had the most regional titles, maybe who's held the most consecutive regional titles. There are managers that have held regional titles for like 5 or 6 consecutive cycles, not the same regional title, mind you, but like have been on the singles front page for like 5 or 6 cycles in a row. Things like who has the most tag team titles. I think we all know who that is. But you know what I mean? Like for a little throw this out there, Texas Hick, Rick Rancher, and Vexing Vladimir, okay, have won the 6-man titles with 1, 2. I'm looking at the spreadsheet right now. 3, 4, looks like 4 different partners.
Nice.
And one other team. So just like little factoids like that, if you're into that kind of thing, kind of.
Oh yeah, I mean those notes like that are good going into 2019.
Like that. Yeah, and things like who has won all the global tournaments that we've had. There might be like a little page highlighting events that we've had, title histories. I expect to do that. It's a pretty comprehensive sheet. I said sheet, SHEET. This is not the L&L show, but like it's pretty comprehensive. It took me a good chunk of time to put all this together. So I'm excited to share some of those informations. Like things like average number of cards, average number of matches you might see, who's won the Battle Royal, what's the most number of Battle Royal entries we've ever had outside of the first cycle, right? Let's look. It looks like in the fall 2008, we had 23 entrants, and the Battle Royal was won by Texas Edge. So
nice.
You can expect to see good things like that. I am excited to kind of put a big issue together to commemorate 2018.
Oh man, we'll be looking forward to that one.
Yeah.
I mean, and those are ones that you just, for those of you guys that are bulletin collectors, that's where you put the little extra tab into that one, because that's a go-to when you looking back.
I hope so. That's the goal. I want to make something that we can kind of bookend as this is a good issue to go back and look at.
Nice. So. Okay, let's see here. Now we jumped into holidays. This is. Do you want me to go ahead and go over the champions and then?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Let's get the champions, give them their credit on air, and then move into what's next. Let's see here. This is United Nations League number 25, league champion, winner of 10 free matches as well. Noble House, Valen Arya. Nice, congrats.
Yes, thank you.
TV champion, Timbatsu. Brazil champion, TVB, Hold the X's. China champion, Aaron McFleece. Hey, getting his gold back.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah.
Great Britain champion, the Samoan bulldozer Tonga Man. Our Indian champion, Solomon Deng. Our Iran champion, Ann Spivey. Japan champion, Ann's bodyguard, Zhang Fei. Our Mexico champion, Naol. Nice. Nigeria champion, Jasper Obanko.
Yes.
Russia champion, Texas Edge. Our United States champion from the Battle Royal, the Hawaiian Delight, Joe Kona. Tag team champions, scored, winning 32 in UNL credit. Quick Hill Inc.'s Quebec Hitmen, MRP, and the Russian Reaper. Our TV champions, check it out, TV tag team, TVB, and Aaron McFleece. Nice, bringing home some gold. 6-man champions, Quick Hill Inc., putting it down, Quebec Hitman, MRP, Russian Reaper, and Naul. And our TV 6-man champions, Jasper Obanko, with the help from the associates, Benjamin Felix and Tomas Escobar.
Yeah. Jasper clearly knows where it's at because he picked up on those newcomers offering their services.
Oh, he knows where to get some help. Where to get some. Oh man,
I like it when stuff like that works out.
Oh yeah, definitely came in handy. Just being able to jump on his talent.
I mean, he has been pretty on point.
Oh man, and a little side note, just so you guys know, I guess he was kind of, I guess he had a hunch that his other guy was either going to win it or lose it, so he's like, I needed a plan B, and you were, I'm like, thanks, thank you, you're the best.
worked out.
Oh,
Worked
yeah.
out. Got and a little note: the TV 6-man, they each get 2 free scrub matches. So Jasper, Benjamin, and Thomas each get 2 free scrub wins next cycle. So
Lord.
yeah,
Hashtag every match matters.
every match matters. Yep. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. So
Stuff.
yeah, good way to end the year. I about peed myself a little when I saw the credit amount this time, and I'm like, how many cards did we have? Awesome cycle, record breaking, as you might see in the year in review next cycle. 97 cards, unreal, awesome. Definitely a UNL record, most number of cards for us in our young history.
Awesome.
So, very cool.
Very, very cool. Now, even as cool, the Butcher.
That cover?
Oh,
you like
my
it?
good. Oh man, loved it.
Thanks. I try, and like, things are deliberate, and if you listen to a certain after hours tubecast, you'll hear put a certain, I think, was that on air? We were talking about that? Maybe not. But anyway, my covers are deliberate. I try and make sure that, like, the background has some kind of purpose, right? No matter what the background is. And I was trying to think, what can I do to kind of make that stand out, right? And I thought just pitch black, which I know sounds plain, but it is purposeful. Like
it pops. It pops.
Right? Your focus goes squarely on the Butcher here, right? And he is an intimidating looking figure. To play on that a little, a few cycles ago, I think it was October, Joe Kona was on the cover, right? And his background was plain white. And part of that was because he had this unbelievable cycle. We've talked about it on the show. And I'm like, I don't want to put anything on there that distracts from that. I'm just going to highlight these accomplishments, right? So it's going to be plain white. And so all you see are all these IWA white titles he's won. So for the Butcher, I wanted it to be very, like, ominous and intimidating. And I'm like, how do you do that? Plain black. Just pops the figure in the middle, I thought. So
nailed it.
Anyway,
nailed it.
That's my exposition on that. So
that worked.
Yeah, kudos to the Butcher.
Oh yeah. Now, as you mentioned, Living Nightmare League, we forgot to mention their commissioner champion. So, we'll make sure we remember next time. Because as I'm looking down on this, I'd like to mention the UNL commissioner champions because, like I said,
oh yeah, sure.
I think they're in some cases even more prestigious than than the front page because some of these are fought with blood in, blood out.
Yeah, it particularly like the United Nations title, and is hard to win. So a league title is hard to win too, obviously, but a United Nations title reign requires you got to have among every, and then you have to beat the person that is the champion in 2 out of 3 matches. So
oh yeah, you gotta have the full portfolio. You gotta
right. If you're United Nations champion, you have a track record of consistency. Which, speaking of, if we're going to talk about commissioner titles, Vexing Vladimir has had 2 successful title defenses. And as we talked about on the last show, this time he's defending against 3 challengers, which I won't go into all those details. But that is not something that will happen very often, if ever again. But the wildest part is Vladimir did not have his best cycle, had a rare off cycle, and all 3 challengers won the first match. So you can think of it not as a fatal 4-way, but as Vladimir, like, defending against 3 different people, and he lost the first match of all 3.
Ooh.
And so, yeah, I'm like, his back is against the wall. He can't lose another match against 3 people over 2 cycles.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm like,
oh yeah, that's
anybody can
tough.
do it. It's Vladimir, but he is uphill
Oh man,
for
well
the
yeah,
next
that is.
cycle.
Well, Vladimir, you know what? You got a fan, brother. Come on, come and get him. Come and get him. Oh man, yeah, because and he's defending against some tough competition. And he's defending.
For sure. Yes.
Oh man. Now, moving down the list, we have our television champ, Texas Hick, Rick Rancher,
Yes, sir. And he
and
did retain against Akbar this cycle.
oh nice.
Yeah.
So
So the television champion does get a 3-point advantage, but Texas Hick did manage to defeat Akbar. And oh, he will defend next cycle against Pool, not only because Texas Hick versus Aaron McFleece is a big time match, but those two are two of the three challengers for the United Nations title. So it's kind of all, mixing together there a bit.
nice. Yeah. So one way or the other, someone's getting some gold.
Somebody's getting something. That's right.
Now, our world tag team champions, Quebec Hitman, MRP, and Noel.
Yep, successfully defended against Walter McGinn and Tonga Ming. So nobody else challenged in a non-title match this cycle, so they will be champions again next cycle. If you would like to challenge for the world tag, you have to get together with one of your characters and somebody else's, either national or international, as the case may be. So 2 national or 2 international. The challenge for those titles. You win a non-title match, and then you challenge again for a title match the following cycle.
Nice. I think yeah, like I said, I don't want to give too much away. But that's coming. That's coming.
Good. I would love to see an increase in activity going for the world tag titles.
Oh yeah, we like I said, you can thank the associates for that. You can thank the associates.
Awesome. I'll look forward to it. That's awesome.
Oh yeah. Now our Can-Am, CC DeVille.
Still, yeah, hanging on, defending against strongman Tobin Wells. So that's the first cycle of that occurred, and I don't have those results in front of me.
And now that you said that's a best of 3 series as well.
Correct. So United Nations and Can-Am and International kind of all follow the same kind of layout where it's a 3-cycle series and the challenger has to win 2 matches. So in his last challenge against the Quebec Hitman, and this was the first cycle of his series with Tobin Wells.
Interesting. I like it.
So if Tobin can retain, or not retain, I'm sorry, if Tobin can win and manage to beat CC, and Jasper can retain, then Blazer Corp will have both the Can-Am and International titles, which would be pretty cool for Blazer Corp.
Now the thing that I think I like and I find very interesting with it is the fact that it's directed directly from the last 3 cycles, so it's amongst the most active fighters in the league.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the one little kicker. Like I told some of the guys that I'm kind of helping out throughout the IWA. I told them, hey, you know what? You just got to think of different ways to keep the relevant managers that are playing in the mix, and I thought that was a good way. Like that you're dealing directly with those individuals that are active, quote unquote.
Right. Yeah. No, definitely. And if you're a commissioner in a league that focuses on trash talking stories, something I did not right away, but I installed a little bit after the commissioner titles were enacted, is the fact that you have to be a consistent trash talker in order to challenge for the commissioner titles, which to me just makes sense in a trash talk driven league. If you don't want to trash talk, certainly I still welcome you being in the league, but people who are, for lack of a better term, like numbers on the page or a name on a page with no context or story or trash talk, they really shouldn't be challenging for the commissioner titles. Those titles are meant to be won and defended and talked about by people who are actively involved, like the ones you see on the page there.
Oh yeah, no, I mean it's important that and in that same I guess in that same thought, if you aren't commissioning, keep in mind, if you do have people that are trash talking, that you incorporate, what's going on throughout the, you know, throughout your reports, throughout your reports.
Oh yeah, for sure. A big thing that I hope I do is show that I'm paying attention and that I care what managers are doing and that I appreciate the work they're putting in. If a manager comes to, one of the leagues I commission and they're trash talking, they're putting in the work, I not to say I want to reward that, but I want to show that matters, right? People like knowing that what they're doing matters. So definitely I think that's important.
And in that thought, kudos and shout out to Cromwell's Corner. To Cromwell's Corner.
Yeah, not written by me, but written by a very dear friend of mine who does a great job with it. I enjoy reading Cromwell's Corner every time. So yeah, and that I didn't realize as I was putting together my spreadsheet, I went back and looked through all the bulletins for the UNL. So that's a lot of bulletins. But Cromwell's Corner started like way long ago. It was like cycle 10 or 11. And I just didn't realize he's been around for almost a year writing this. And I'm like, man, kudos to him. So yeah, definitely appreciate his input and kind of perspective. And I think for me, in terms of the UNL, you didn't ask for my thought on this, but I'm going to give it anyway, if that's okay.
Most definitely.
I think it was important to have a voice, not mine, write the trash talk review. Do you know what I mean? If that makes sense, because it breaks things up a bit, right? It's another perspective. So like as a manager in the league, what is he noticing and what is he going to write about in terms of Cromwell's Corner?
I like it. Yeah, I mean it reminisce. I mean, I don't want to, like similar to Fritz the Owl, to Fritz the Owl.
Yeah, exact. Right. In a similar mode, right? Like he's reviewing certain things that are happening. Cromwell is reviewing certain things that are happening. Yes.
I love it. I said, and just throwing it out there, just the way it's highlighted, just lets you, quickly glance. If you see, a lot of people like to do the shotgun reviews of the bulletin, and I think the highlighting of the names, the bolding of the typeface, just makes for a quick little take a glance. When you have time, go back, read the rest of it. But
right, like when it first releases, and you're just like seeing who talked about me, right?
Yeah, exactly. The shotgun review. The shotgun review.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I know that's what I do. First thing I do is who talked about my characters, and then I'll go back and read everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, for sure.
Now, global tournament number 20 is finalizing or coming to an end.
Correct. Rick Rancher. I know it's a big surprise. Rick Rancher won global tournament number 20 and 5 free matches. So global tournament number 21 will award 10 free matches because we had 15 managers or more that cycle. So anytime we have 15 or more, the global free matches. It looks like, knock on wood, we may be starting to get to a point where we can consistently count on awarding 10 free matches to our global tournament winners, which is awesome.
Nice. Now, did we have a drop off because the next one says 5, or is that a typo?
No, that's not a typo. 22 and 23, we had less than 15, so those are both 5s.
Aha. Okay.
So yeah, and then number 24 upped back up to 10. So
those holidays, love them. Gotta love them. Gotta love them holidays.
So, cycle 21, or not cycle 21, global tournament number 21, with the 10 free matches is the first one that's offered 10 free matches since the very beginning. UNL cycle 2 or 3 had 15 managers, and so I was able to offer 10 free matches to that winner. But after that, every global tournament after that has been 5. We have not had 15 active managers until now. So UNL on the up and up as 2018 comes to a close, and I am so happy and excited for that.
Nice. And 24, huh? 24. I love it.
Yeah, already up to number 20. And the cool thing, and if you're on the UNL board on Facebook, maybe you might have seen this. And if you're not, you're welcome to join. You don't have to be a UNL manager to join. What I have had, and it makes me feel a little bad, but I have had several people over the last 6 months or so who request to join and then don't answer the very 2 easy questions I put. And so if you don't answer those 2 questions, I do not add you to the page. The 2 questions are very simple. Are you a manager in the UNL? And if so, who do you manage? You don't have to be, but who do you manage? And then number 2 is basically just everybody's expected to be courteous and respectful to each other. Does this seem reasonable? And you say yes or no. And then if you say yes, you're on the board. But I just feel like if people can't take the 20 seconds to answer those 2 questions, you don't want on the board that much, or right. you don't care that I asked those questions. I didn't do that just to, just for kicks. I did that because that's how I knew people wanted to be on the board. So if people can't answer those questions, then they clearly don't care that much about being on the board.
It's like easy as that.
It's that easy, right? And I try and be a pretty easygoing guy. Hopefully that shows. But if you can't answer those 2 questions, then you can't be on the board. It's pretty simple. So that aside, hopefully I didn't just drive people away. Please, you're welcome to join the UNL board. But back to the point I was making before I went on that long-winded explanation, is that we have had 16 or more managers over the last couple cycles. And why that's important is because if there are 16, then 16 wrestlers get to enter the global tournament. So you'll notice global tournaments 22 and 23 have 12 wrestlers, so there are 4 buys. Global tournament number 24, and when it's released in the next bulletin, number 25 will both have 16 wrestlers, which is So we'll have 8 first round matches, which is awesome. All these matches play. So it's pretty cool. And if we hit 20 sometime early this year, which now we're at 17, we could certainly hit 20 within the next few months. If we hit 20, then there are going to be 20 managers, and then we'll have like a little like extra round. I'll have to create some more space on my page here. But that would be a good problem to have. Then we'll have 20 wrestlers in each tournament. So the tournaments build. If we have 40 managers, which would be, I can't even imagine. Then we'll have 40 wrestlers starting a tournament. So every 4 managers, it goes up by 4. So 12 is 12, 15 is 12, 16 is 16, 19 is 16. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody, but
if not, go back to math.
I may or may not have an affinity for running tournaments.
Just a bit, just a little tad bit.
I mean, you may see them everywhere I am. So,
but none more than the UNL.
None more than the UNL. If you love tournaments, I dare say there is no place better than the UNL for lovers of tournaments.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, just look. Just look. Take a
right
look. Take a look.
Yeah.
I love it. No, like I said, it just keeps everybody in.
Right. That's part of the goal. Just kind of keep everybody, oh, how did I do? I got beaten 21, but I won in 23. So that's kind of my hope, is to keep everybody kind of involved.
Now, World Warfare 2.
Brother, I am so excited for this one. January 15th, 2019. Coming from the National Stadium in Beijing, China, the UNL presents World Warfare 2, featuring Quick Kill Inc., the team of Quebec Hitman MRP, the Russian Reaper, and Naul, taking on the team of Bill the Butcher Cuddy, Walter Monk McGinn, and Texas Edge. Also, American Pride Jack Edison will take on the Panama City Playboy, Shane Cole. The Italian Nightmare, Anthony Enzo, will do battle with the Siberian Bull, Alex Dreiger. In a battle of main event stars, the Hawaiian Delight, Joe Kona, takes on TVB. In a grudge match, the Samoan Bulldozer Tonga Mini faces off with Dallin Ari. In a special pink drink dunk tank match, the strongman Tobin Wells goes one-on-one with Jacob Vandenberg. Poisons, CC DeVille and Akbar face Texas Hick Rick Ranger and a mystery partner of Poison's choosing. In a battle of a broken friendship, Aaron McLeese faces off with Ten Batsu. So don't miss out. Be a part of the biggest night in UNL history.
And we're back.
Pretty exciting.
Oh man,
I can't wait.
That's gonna be awesome, man. And just seeing everything, that's gonna happen. World Warfare 2, like you said, it's probably gonna be, the biggest show to date.
I think so, for sure.
I mean, now it's gonna be kind of hard to top World Warfare 2 because from what we can hear, I mean everything's gonna escalate to a fantastic pay-per-view, probably. Like you said, tear the roof off. Tear the roof off.
Yeah. So, yeah, for sure. And the only way to follow that up is not to try and match it, but to do something equivalently large, which is have our second annual Rumble match. And for those of you who weren't around for the first Rumble match, basically I save all the iCash for the entire pay, quote unquote, a certain amount of their wrestlers' iCash to enter the Rumble.
Nice.
Last year, the winner of the Rumble got $1.7 million in iCash. So this year, I am for sure that we are going to top over $2 million. We may approach 2.5. I don't know. It depends on the number of people we have enter. But my plan is, and I'll double check my numbers real quick. My general plan is, sorry, I should not do that when we're on air. Is to ask managers to chip in 100,000. Last year it was 75. We had just started. Managers didn't have a ton of money, or wrestlers didn't have a ton of money. But if each wrestler throws in 100,000, and I chip in, it'll be probably close to $1 million, if not over $1 million, in commissioner iCash. 17 times. I'm sorry. I'm digressing. Plus, say 7 times 50. So if I contribute over $1 million, and then we have say 25 contribute 100,000. We are looking at a earnings of over $3 million in iCash.
Oh yeah, I'm just pondering how to spend it. I'm just pondering how to spend it. Like I'm retiring with 2 wins.
The first wrestler not to have 1,000 wins in 20 years.
Just retire with.
Yeah, but we could easily.
Hall of Fame, here we go.
We could easily hit $3 million.
Wow.
In iCash prize. So that would be pretty incredible.
That would be, yeah. That would be, like I said, just hoping I could come up with a way to win it. It's mine.
Yeah.
It's mine.
So, yeah, that'll be exciting. And I ran it like a Royal Rumble, so it was a really big write up. So hopefully managers enjoyed that last year. Hopefully managers enjoy it this year. We had 22 entrants last year. It would be awesome to top 22 this year. You know, I think since we have 34 active wrestlers this cycle, you know, we could easily top that number from last year. So I'm looking forward to the Rumble after World Warfare 2.
Nice. Now, the Rumble takes place in any particular city? Any?
Those negotiations are ongoing, but there is a front runner, which I am not quite ready to reveal yet.
Dun, 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 dun.
But I will say, I had mentioned it on a previous show, that my plan is to travel around to the countries that are the regional titles. So we had a pay-per-view take place in Japan. We had a pay-per-view take place in Brazil. The World Warfare 2 is in China. Tuesday night's main event took place in the United States. Mexico City was the host of Global's Greatest. So, you know, the number of options are thinning. So you can, you know, start to figure out which might be next based on that.
Yeah, just start scratching them off the title. Just start scratching them off.
Yeah. So
let's see here. Now, are we doing? Are we going to dig into some of this trash talk, or?
Yeah, sure.
Or where are we at?
If I could mention before we get into the trash talk, the World Tag Shuffle. You'll notice at the end of my report, the deadline is set for this upcoming cycle. So I know I tend to join the cycle it's due, but hopefully we get a good response. This event is only going to be as good as the number of people who enter it. So if I don't get a lot of entries, it just won't be as fun as it could be. So hopefully, if you're interested, managers can join that. Obviously, it's up to you. $2 enters both of your wrestlers. You'll get at least 2 matches with each wrestler back. So, you know, it even makes economical sense. The winners get the entry fees back. So, like, say you and I would win. Not that you're in the UNL, but if you and I would win, then, you know, we would split the credit, and we would each get our wrestlers would each get a World Tag title shot. So, you know, I could pick a partner for my wrestler. You could pick a partner for your hypothetical wrestler. And then each of those teams would have a World Tag title shot. So
awesome.
Yeah, so no. Hopefully something fun.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, no. And by the way, I don't mind revealing that I'm in the UNL.
Okay. I wasn't sure, and I'm like, I don't want to out you.
Oh, man. It's so hard for me to hide anywhere anyways, man.
It is. You know, like, we all have a certain style. Like, you were doing a BBL show, and you're like, oh, I think I recognize this manager. I'm like, what do you mean? Like,
shut up! Shut up, Flip. We just shut up.
Like, what gave me away? But yeah, you know, we all have our giveaways, you know.
I'll say it because, like I said, just to go a little quick sidebar. Back in the days, like 2014, it had been in the AWL. I got into this kick of like doing the whole copycat.
Okay.
So I would literally like mimic the style of the manager's trash talk. I'd font and everything.
Cool.
Oh no, it was stupid. It was.
That's cool.
Oh man, but I got myself into so much trouble, man.
Yeah.
I was.
You would throw everybody off.
Oh, dude, it was horrible. It was horrible.
People did not appreciate that. See, I appreciate it.
No, it just went over the wrong way. Oh yeah.
Well, you know, Um,
Yeah, watch out.
looking back, I appreciate it.
It was fun. It was good times. Good times. I mean, but yeah, yeah. We won't do that again. Crossing my fingers. Crossing my
Lesson
fingers.
learned.
Lesson learned. Yeah. Like, okay. Yeah. That. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Whoops.
Note to self.
Yeah. The only place I try and mimic is and I'm pretty horrible at trying to mimic his style because he's just so fucking, he does some crazy work. Is Peter Houston in the ASL. Like I'll try and mimic some of the work, and it's like, yeah, no, no, just no, yeah,
Yeah, he is detailed. Kudos
oh,
to him for his level of attentiveness to
oh
detail.
yeah, oh yeah. It's like wow. I'm like, okay, yeah, no, I can do this much. I'm good. I'm good anymore. I was like, no, I'll give myself a headache. I don't want a headache. I don't want a headache. I go, Peter, you're the best, brother. Get it, man. I won't stay. I'll stay out of that territory. I'll stay out of that. I'll stick to my fonts. I'll stick to my fonts.
Like I'll stick to what? Yeah, I'll stick to my own.
Now, moving into this trash talk, we had a lot going on, and like you said, with that wonderful pay-per-view, lot to highlight.
Yeah.
Where would you want to start?
Oh well. If it's totally cool, it's up to you. If we're not going to talk about everything, are we going to?
Yeah,
We're
well, no,
gonna.
we got time.
Okay.
That's the one luxury we have. That's the one luxury we have here. Yeah,
I did, a little note that I did appreciate Ezekiel Crane's promo about Christmas and about Santa and his slave driving ways. I'll mention that. And then we had kind of I think of it as like we had our commercial, but I think of the Trash Talk with Aaron McLeese and Tenbatsu as kind of like one of those 15-second or 30-second commercials.
yes.
Just highlighting kind of how their business partnership became a friendship and now has kind of unfortunately fallen on hard times due to Aaron McLeese's change of perspective.
And to add a little side, I mean, it's interesting that ever since his attitude adjustment, he's gotten gold.
He's coming. Yeah, I mean it's sometimes refocusing and realigning your thought process can be successful. So I can't condone his actions. But,
right, it sucks that it's at the hands of poor Timbatsu.
Yeah, but the results speak for themselves.
Yeah. And Timbatsu's doing pretty well for himself, as on his own hand. So
for sure, he has done his fair share of gold winning. So yeah, so looking forward to that. Texas Hick, Texas Hick Rick Rancher. He is an interesting cat. He is sending all of his UNL earnings to help fund a certain wall. And I just love how he goes like right up to like a certain line and then doesn't cross over the line, but just kind of tiptoes right up against that line. So always interesting, always fun to read. Texas Hick. You love to hate him.
Now, I will say this. I think ever since I've gone on here, this is the first time we've said his name this late in the show.
Yeah. He did not have.
We went we went 40 minutes without saying his name. Can you believe that?
That's got to be a record.
It's wow. Yeah, I'm just catching on to that right now. I'm like, oh my god, this is the first time we've said his name.
But there he is.
There he is, Texas Hick.
Yeah, if there was a UNL Hall of Fame, which I don't think we're there yet, but man, I think Texas Hick is a first year inductee. It's crazy how on point Texas Hick Rick Rancher has been for 25 cycles.
Oh, you know what? I just had that slap in the face. I said, "Don't mess with Texas." We said his name because he won the global tournament.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I just had that virtual slap to the face. I said, "Hey,
Oh,
don't mess with Texas. You said my name earlier, kid." And I was like,
Get with the program.
"Get with the program, kid." Oh man, good stuff there, Texas Hick.
Yeah. Yep. And then we go to Vexing Vladimir, who has been I don't know how to he's been partnering with CC DeVille and Akbar, but it seems like maybe there's something amiss here. He seems like he's not happy about something that his poison friends have asked him to do.
Uh-oh.
So yeah, so we'll see how that plays out. But Vladimir is a bit I don't know if unstable is the right word, but he's a bit eccentric. So you're never quite sure what he's going to do. He can be pretty unpredictable. So we'll see kind of where this plays out, because if he's not happy, he's been known to kind of lose his cool.
Now, what's the relationship like between Vlexing and Texas Hick?
Well, they do partner up for Six Man, but they really don't have an association in terms of their trash talk. So
it's just a mutual agreement to win some gold.
I think so. Yes, it's like, I'm pretty good, you're pretty good. Let's team up and beat some people up.
Nice.
So yeah, they really have not crossed paths that much, although they are in the UNL, the United Nations title series, but really they have not had a lot of interaction up to this point, other than winning titles together.
So you're thinking maybe the Poison Boys are going to make them cross path?
That's kind of the impression I have, but it's hard to say. It's what does Poison have planned for Vexing Vladimir?
Dun,
We'll
dun,
see.
dun. And now,
that's all coming to a head.
and let's not shift the focus around too much, because Poison's been known to, pull some quick ones.
Oh, for sure. I mean, we thought they were the party boys and then we find out that they've been attacking people for 6 months, and now they're all about taking names and winning titles. So yeah, they are
when it's
trusted.
Yeah, when it's all said and done, we'll see who the real pawn is. We'll see who the real.
For sure, yes, you are not wrong.
Now, the Ninja.
Short and sweet and to the point.
Quick and to the point, yeah.
So Ninja thinks he might hit the strong man, who I assume he means Tobin Wells. He's going to hit the strong man in the face with his nunchucks.
Very cool. Hey.
So watch your back, Tobin Wells.
Nunchucks, huh? Oh.
Yeah.
And you know what? I mean, I remember back when the whole, I think we talked, the whole ninja thing became a fad here in LA, and everybody, was doing the American Ninja thing. And you don't remember those movies? They're so stupid.
I really don't.
They're like, I mean, not to throw a jab, but they're like the ghetto version of like Rambo and Sylvester Stallone, like horrible movies. I mean, so over the top. But
I do remember the Three Ninjas movies.
Yeah, I remember that one. That one was actually better than those back in the day.
Like, we are setting the bar low, and Three Ninjas is better than these movies.
Yeah, I mean, it's the cheesy '80s, man. I mean, everybody was just dynamites in the backgrounds, and everything's blowing up. They're throwing exploding fucking ninja stars, and oh yeah, it's just way over the top. Oh yeah, but I still watch them. Not gonna lie.
Well, yeah. Come on.
Oh. But the Ninja's made his way to the United Nations League. He's made his way.
Yes. So beware. I hear he's pretty hard to see sometimes. He's pretty sneaky.
Oh man.
So.
Like his trash talk, just
right.
In and out. Ugh.
In and out. Yep. So Ezekiel Crane. This was one of my favorite ones of the cycle. I mean, they're always, everybody does a great job, but it's just this idea, like you can just kind of, sometimes you can read it and you can just kind of see it in your mind. Like the UNL official is basically saying, hey, it's really nice to have you, but you keep showing up at all the shows. And Ezekiel's right, yep. And Ezekiel Crane basically says, yep. I had my lawyer look at the contract. It sounds like he found some kind of, loophole or way around so he could keep coming. And the official, tries to be, a bureaucrat basically. And it's like, hey, I'll have you escorted from the arena. And Ezekiel Crane's, you're going to drag a crippled man out and throw him in the street. And it's like, no, you're not going to do that. And I'm like, that is, I know it's not television, but like that is good television, because like you are not going to do anything. You're leave me alone because I fought for this country. I got hurt for this country, right? You're not going to take a critically wounded veteran, and throw him out. So, explain that to the commissioner. And I'm like, oh, like you can see this, you can just see the official,
okay,
head down and back away, right?
Mr. Anderson,
like everything's fine. Ezekiel Crane's showing up now. Yeah, it's fine. So I enjoyed that. That was good stuff. So it looks like Ezekiel Crane is gonna be around.
And I got to get the official thing, but I think it's Solomon Yang. I think the D is silent.
Oh, okay. Good note.
So good old Solomon.
Yeah, Solomon taking care of business on behalf of Ezekiel Crane.
I forgot who. I think he has one loss. I think he only lost to. Who was it? I forgot. I went blank. I think it was. No, I'm not even going to say a name.
I can probably look it up if you're interested.
I'm curious as to who he did lose to. It had to have been the league champ, so I'm assuming.
Valen.
Couldn't
have been Valinaria. Let's see. No, Aaron McFleece.
Nice. Yeah,
Aaron McFleece. Yeah, card 62. Aaron McFleece beat Solomon Yang by 1 point.
Woohoo! Nice.
Close.
Solomon doing work.
Yeah, cleaning house. I mean, 47-1 is pretty good. I'd be happy with 47-1.
Oh, but yeah, that should do. That'll do to end the year.
That'll do. Yeah, it's okay.
Let's see here now.
Alex Drago.
Alex.
Yeah.
Now did he go back or am I losing it? Is he changing his name again or?
I don't think so. As far as I know, that's the new name.
That's the new one. Okay.
Yes.
So he's settled. So, we're good on the Siberian Bull.
I believe so.
All righty.
Yes.
Who can't speak or he can't speak English, from what I can tell.
Right. His wife kind of is his spokesperson, and they have a press conference, and she's basically speaking on his behalf, and kind of says, first of all, that he's training and he's receiving vitamins, but they're definitely not steroids. So, I often find that the loudest objections are often the most guilty, but we'll see. Says they're not steroids, but also lays out kind of a challenge to flexing Vladimir for who is the better Russian. So it sounds like Alex, after World Warfare, is going to be going after vexing Vladimir. So we'll see what goes down with that.
Huh. Now, he didn't lay out a challenge per se, like in terms of a series or like.
Well, it seems like he would like to have. It says that he would like to have some kind of like quote unquote preliminary match. Like a match to kind of prove that he is worthy, and then hopefully that leads to a more high profile matchup.
Ah,
So
nice.
yeah, so I think he is definitely pushing for a big time match against Flexing Vladimir. So
Yeah, because I mean, if you look at the locker room, I mean, in some cases, quote unquote, the rub, some
yeah,
guys that are as prestigious as Flexing, hey, why am I going to give you that attention, or why should I give you that attention? So for Alex to come out and said, hey, you know what? Let me prove to you, so that's
right,
pretty big.
yeah,
It didn't
I
didn't didn't
agree.
request the match, didn't request it out, just out of nothing. It's like, hey, you know what? Let's uh let's work up to it. So that's a
Right,
nice build.
like I'm gonna prove to you that you should give me this opportunity. So
Or not.
or hopefully, maybe we'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a we'll see kind of where that all leads. I know Vlexing Vladimir is been the UN champion for a while now, but he was also the first television champion, the commissioner television champion, and he held that title for like 8 or 9 or 10 cycles, which it's defended every cycle against somebody new. So to hold on to it that long is a pretty big accomplishment,
And and
which
and
is another thing you might see in the historical review in the next bulletin.
nice. Now it also puts a big target on your back because if you
It
keep
does.
going,
Right.
the Flying Dragon also, has his eyes set on flexing.
It seems like he so glad to see Philippe and Antoine Martin back. They have separate trash talks, so I'll address them separately. But uh, so good to see that manager back. He does good work. He talks about being kind of on and off active wise for 2018. I've said it before. I'll say it again. When he is active, he is a force to be reckoned with. So it would be fantastic. He says he's going to be uh, back full time for 2019. I'm a bulletin, so I'm looking forward to a more active 2019 for the Flying Dragon, who compliments his opponents and says that he is coming for some commissioner titles, which is a very good way to make his return.
Yeah, loved it. Yeah, like I said, I mean, when you wrap around, uh, when you wrap around the report into your trash talk, it just makes it a little easier, from a commissioner to, work your character in.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, always good stuff. And then Poison they gave out some Christmas presents, but I'm not sure that everybody like TBB got some an ugly Christmas sweater. There's an homage to the gold fed Blazer Corp in that they gave a Buzz Lightyear action figure to Blazer Corp, which is a play on the Goldfed's Gary Galaxy.
Nice.
Yeah, which I thought was a funny little, not Easter egg, but just a little haha moment. Uh, and so then Cece goes to give Rancher an envelope that contains the name of his partner, but then Akbar takes it back and says, no, no, not tonight. We're not going to give it to him. We're going to give it to him in person. And I'm like, oh, that does not sound good
Nice.
for a rancher.
Nice.
It's kind of that a scenario where like you have a really big evil villain, and then you have another big evil villain, and you're going to see them square off, and you're like, I don't know who to root for, but this is going to be good. So so that's kind of how I see Rick Rancher against Poison. It's two big baddies facing off, and it's going to be pretty epic.
Nice. Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't. Oh, let's see here. Looks like the Hitman had a little.
Yeah, kind of took a cycle off from smack talking, which he does very well, to just kind of tell everybody he hopes they have a good holiday. And he thanked me for my work, which I appreciate. I thank him for all that he has done. This manager has 2 wrestlers in the entire IWA. His 2 UNL wrestlers. He chooses to play in the UNL. So
Nice.
I appreciate that, first of all. But second of all, part of the reason why I mentioned that he only has 2 wrestlers in the entire IWA is that he had 4 or 5 perfect tag team scores this year.
Sick.
4 or 5 5/16s, 2 of which were perfect point flows. So he only runs 2 guys in the entire IWA, and he had 2 perfect point flows and like 2 or 3 more 5/16s. And I'm like, bro, can I sit at your learning tree, please? Whatever you're doing. You can see if you look at the points, he ran away with tag, and he's definitely the man behind the 6-man. So if there is a multis wrestler or manager that you want to look towards, man, I'd sit at this guy's learning tree because he is on point.
Like he's the one. He's the one.
Yes.
Oh man. So happy holidays from the Quebec Hitman.
Yeah, it's the Quebec Hitman. And then we have, speaking of Quebec Hitman and his partner, the Russian Reaper, the Canadian Crippler, Antoine Martin, came back, and he beat the ever-living tar out of the Russian Reaper. And Russian Reaper is a pretty, strong individual. So Antoine Martin cleans his clock pretty good, and then smack talks him after he does it. So Antoine Martin looks like he is maybe looking to have some kind of feud with the Russian Reaper, which I think would be pretty cool. I would be excited to see that. So we'll see kind of where that also talks about title, which again is always good to kind of incorporate those commissioner titles. So
now I'll tell you one thing I'm enjoying about the Flying Dragon and the Canadian Cripplers trash talk is that style where he wraps it around a match that was in the bulletin, a match that was played, and then he kind of does a little mock up of the match and then leads into his little trash talk, which is pretty dang cool. Cool.
I agree completely. I don't do that all the time, but I do that as well. Like I try and because I like it. I think it adds to the idea that these matches are taking place, right? The matches in the bulletin are taking place,
right?
And so when you reference those, it's kind of like, oh, this happened at this show. It was pretty special. So yeah, I think that's cool when that gets pulled out.
Now, I think moving into 2019, and hashtag every match matters. I think something that's very, very underused is the ability to be able to label a match. And obviously, I'm not saying you'd go ahead and overdo it and label all your matches, but from time to time, it is nice to see. I forgot what manager was doing it this past cycle, but next thing you know, one of my guys was in a TLC match or a cage match, and I thought that was pretty cool.
That is cool. I would like to sidebar and shout out one of my favorite people in the whole world, Jake Joyce, and he signed what I think may be my all-time favorite specialty match. Can I share? He signed in the IWL. He signed a match against another manager, and the specialty match was loser licks dog poo. And I still laugh. It's great. And he won. Thankfully for Jake, he won. Yeah.
Did they print it? Did they print it like in the magazine, like
yes.
in the bulletin, like loser?
Oh, dog poo. Yep.
Oh.
It's got to be my favorite specialty match of all time.
Nice.
So it's fun to change it up. I appreciate that.
I mean, as soon as I heard it, what that brings to mind is the image from Step Brothers. You're
where
the white
kids,
dub.
the bullies, yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, it's awesome. Oh, good times, good times, good time. Yeah, so change it up from time to time.
Yeah.
Change it up.
So next we have Sir Robert, I think it's pronounced Hughesworth, along with his two wrestlers, the aforementioned Bill the Butcher Cutting and Walter Monk McGinn, talking about how they're continuing to be successful, league champion, tag team champions, and then they build into their World Warfare 2 match. Bill is pretty confident going into that contest against Quick Kill Inc. I will mention here, while I'm thinking about it, the manager for Texas Edge was inactive this cycle. Hopefully it's just a one cycle thing. It is the holidays. These things happen. But I will be running a second match in case Texas Edge would be inactive again. So if he would be inactive again, maybe this is too much info, but I already started, so I might as well finish. Where if he is inactive again, I will have Bill Cutting and Walter McGinn face off against the Quebec Hitman and the Russian Reaper. So maybe something will unfortunately happen to Naul that will keep him off of the pay-per-view if the unfortunate event of Texas Edge being inactive occurs. I don't want to penalize Cutting and McGinn if that were to happen.
And that's, like you said, that's breaking fourth wall stuff for those aspiring commissioners out there. Just ways to work around certain certain IWA.
Just certain events, certain realities that occur. Like you can't always predict these kind of things. So you have to be willing to roll with the punches.
Yeah. A little Montreal, what do you call it? A little Montreal screw job from time to time. Hey.
Yeah.
Hey.
And Naul is my wrestler, so.
Yeah, it makes it a little easier. It makes it
a little easier to do, yeah. So.
Now, I love when something just keeps building, and this pink drink dunk tank match is.
I love it.
It just continues to build, and just when two fighters and two managers take an idea and run with it. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. Tobin Wells versus Jacob Vandenberg. It's got to be one of my favorite feuds of the year. It is a nominee for the feud of the year. If shout out anybody wants to vote. Not that I'm endorsing it. I am neutral, but it's definitely been one of my personal favorites this year. Building up to a pink drink dunk tank match.
Look at you! Look at you! You've had practice.
Oh, yes. So, yeah. Kudos to Tobin Wells and Jacob Vandenberg for this build up. Definitely good. And then he references Oasis again, which kind of kicked off the whole thing. Jacob Vandenberg had a misunderstanding about an Oasis song, which kind of is, I don't want to say funny, but a unusual way for a feud to start. But it's gotten pretty intense. So
all over his song.
All over his song. And I love the picture. The picture with Tobin Wells with the one eyebrow up. Awesome stuff. He's it cracks me up. It's a good picture. It's pretty funny.
I love it. Yeah, like you said, that's the way to do it, guys. That's the way to do it.
Yeah. Aspiring managers. Yep. Blazer Corp knows how to put it together. So.
Now, again, when you have that United Nations title, your big target, and obviously we know the three people going after that title, and looks like we had a little rundown from TVB.
Yeah, that has kind of been his story for the second half of this year. Really, is his claim that he's going to win Global's Greatest, which he did, and then his push for having won, earning him a United Nations title shot. So, he's continuing that, and he's calling out, Vladimir and saying that it's time for him to take the title. So, good stuff. I'm a fan. The man without a country.
Here we go.
And then Jacob Vandenberg talking about Tobin the Well. It cracks me up. And so he lights fireworks indoors. And so a man comes running around the corner, and excuse me, I hope I don't offend anybody, but the man says, "Jesus Christ, kid, what the hell are you doing?" And Jacob laughs and he goes, "My name not Jesus Christ. I'm Jacob. Nice to meet you." And I laugh because it's, Jacob cracks me up. It's like, no, that's not my name. My name is Jacob.
I love it.
Yeah, Jacob is a good read. He cracks me up. And I like that. I like that in my IWA. Some jovialness.
You gotta have it. You gotta have it.
Yeah, you can't be serious all the time.
Now, speaking of serious all the time,
on the flip side of that, somebody who can be serious all the time is Mr. Valinaria. Yeah,
our current league champ,
Mr. 24/7, who has a rather adverse reaction to Tonga Ming not focusing on him, building into their match. So I'm not important enough for you, huh? Yeah, like in the December bulletin, it's almost like a throwaway, like, Valen, don't think I forgot about you, like I'm gonna beat you. And Valen throws his cell phone and shatters it against the wall, and he's like, you're not even focused on me. Now I've got even more inspiration to, and he says, I'm going to break you mind, body, and spirit. Nice. So Valen has talked tough going into this match. So hopefully for him and his psyche, he is successful. Because if he is not successful, I don't want to know how he's going to respond to that. He could go down a really dark path. So he is focused solely on destroying Tonga Ming.
Yeah, so he better focus. You better focus, Tonga.
Yeah. Yes, sir. And then the native warrior Naul, kind of giving the just props to Bill Cutting and Walter McGinn and Texas Edge, who have come in and really done very well over the last 5 or 6 cycles. And so, the interviewer Matt Peters says, are you maybe regretting having challenged these guys, now that they're so successful? And Naul basically says, no, like I want the big fight, like I want to be challenged. And so then he kind of throws it out like they've been successful, but how will they do, on a big stage like World Warfare? How will they?
What, like you said, when the lights are brightest.
When the lights are brightest, exactly. How will they perform? So we'll see. We'll see next cycle. And then on the back, great way to end. Strike first, strike hard. The associates, Benjamin and Thomas, gonna help out.
They're here to help one and all.
One and all. And Jasper wisely secured their services.
You like how I added their call numbers?
Yeah. I saw that. I'm like, that is so cool. Like, that is a smart thing to do. Like, you don't even have to look it up. I'm going to share it for you. Like, it's 106, 107. You don't have to look. I'm going to tell you right now. Sign 106, 107.
Hey, come get your help. Come get your help.
Yeah. No, I thought that was, for the characters that these guys are, like, that's genius. Yeah, no, I liked it.
Oh, man. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I definitely, like I said, we got some more coming this cycle. I don't want to ruin it, but
nice. All right.
It should be a nice little surprise. Like I said,
Awesome.
we'll leave that one like that because
Good at that. Okay.
the the association grows. The association grows. The association grows.
Interesting.
Oh yeah. Oh man, I love it. Now UNL, like I said, it's one of our like we say the pinnacle there in the bronze because like I said, there's a lot going on, and like I said, it's going to continue to grow. 2019, I can see it already. But is there anything else we want to get into this coverage?
I think we were pretty thorough with our coverage.
Yeah, no, and that like I said, I mean these shows, like I said, I hope you guys are enjoying them. I hope as we continue to learn the program because I am still learning this dang thing, and so expect more and more as the show progresses. The more images that we can prepare for the show, the better we can present them throughout the show. I hope you guys continue to listen. As for now, you've been listening to Commissioner Scott Anderson. And this has been the United Nations, or around the United Nations. Myself, IWA Flip. We'll see you guys next time.